Hello and welcome to Sit Downs with City Lifestyle Vegas Edition. I'm your co-host today, Camilla Solea Ray with Red Rock and South Vegas City Lifestyle. And I have here my counterpart,
Crissie Bown from Henderson City Lifestyle.
All right, Crissie Bown, what are we talking about today?
Today we're back with our community marketing series, which you'll see Camilla and I are putting together a series of these videos over the next year. Honestly, just to try to give people information as they're mapping out their marketing strategy and just to give them some ideas as they're kind of going into that process, which can feel overwhelming. So we're trying to simplify it a little bit.
I know there are so many options nowadays, huh?
So many options.
Yeah.
And I think that people are, you open a business and then all of a sudden you've got 10 people outside your door wanting to, promote it and help you and all the things. And,
right.
And a lot of times it can be so overwhelming that people just freeze and say, I'm not doing anything, which can be a huge mistake.
Yeah, and another mistake is not doing anything.
Exactly.
Right.
And today's topic of discussion is going to be community versus clicks.
Wow, that is a huge one, huh?
It's a big one.
Yeah.
So to kick off our conversation, I'm going to start with a big question.
Here it comes.
I know. Are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
So are we chasing the wrong thing? With community versus clicks, do you feel like we're chasing the wrong thing? Because there can be a lot of emphasis on trying to grow followers and social and all those things these days.
Well, people think that followers is going to guarantee them more business, right? When in fact, it's not. Yeah, I think that is the mistake a lot of people make when going into the digital world, social media.
I would agree. I mean, I think, 15 years ago, the rage was all about targeted display ads. Everybody needed to do targeted display ads. And the good thing that came from targeted display ads was that there was a really, we were able to get granular, right? As far as like, okay, well, you got this many clicks on this ad that ran, and this one performed better than this one. And everybody wanted a dashboard where they could see all the results of all their ads that were running. And now social media provides that, right? So, you can promote things on social and you can see which ads are performing the best. And the nice part of it is that people like it because there's trackability, right? You have a direct trackability factor when you're doing things on social. And you can see your follower count. But the question, the point that you bring up is huge in saying like, okay, do those clicks or do those followers translate into hardline business for revenue for your business?
Right. And, some businesses are not interested in building community. All they want is they believe that clicks are going to be enough. They just want to finish their day, go to their house, whatever, not be bothered. But I got a call several months ago from a dentist, and she's had her practice here in town for years. And she said, Camilla, what I realized is that I get 8,000 visits on my website every single month, but I'm not getting any new customers, new patients, because these people are not from my community. And I've realized that I need to invest in being highlighted, spotlighted, tell my story here in my community.
It's such a good point.
Yeah.
Because, I think for a while the rage was like, let's get as many followers as we can. And there's nothing wrong with having a lot of followers.
Yeah.
But, to your exact point.
You can buy followers.
You can buy followers now, which is also part of it too.
Yeah.
And are those people that are following along with your business or going to your website, are they actually in the market for your services? And do they live in the same city?
Right.
Do they actually live here where they might actually be able to walk through the doors and make a purchase or make a purchasing decision?
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, to me, like I would take 10 engaged people in the same room with me over 10,000 random followers who won't set foot in the city of Henderson any day of the week.
Well, it's because we're about community, and so is what we do.
Yeah.
Right? And, is it great to have so many followers? It's great for the ego. It's great for the ego,
yeah,
right?
It is.
I remember, I don't know, a couple of years ago, the most watched video on TikTok was this girl who was like making faces and showing her tongue.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
I don't know how many million views it had, and she probably, pocketed a few bucks, whatever. Even that girl recently with the Pepsi commercial with her, little jingle. Now everybody's doing a jingle and trying to get, some company to pay attention to them and pay them millions and millions of dollars, right? It's great for the ego, but if you think realistically for a business, is it effective?
I think it's such a big question, and we've said before, like, you have to have a social media presence and you have to be active on social, but it's a tool,
Right. Again,
social,
the message.
Yeah, social is a tool, like money's a tool, to try to be able to serve better. You know what I mean? And that's really the way that I look at it, is like, if people are doing, if people are looking at your business and they're considering your business, it's a way for you to share why they should.
Yeah. And, your presence on digital social, it's going to allow you to have a more immediate message to convey. Unfortunately, it has to be within 15 seconds, right? Because people's attention span has
short.
also shrunk. And so to rely only on clicks and telling your story through the 15-second video is challenging if you really want your business to succeed.
Yeah. And I think that we've all become a little obsessive about, like, checking our social media and how many people followed this and did this post get a bunch of likes or did it not? And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like, I almost feel like everyone's just a little bit over that, and
it's exhausting, Crissie.
It's exhausting. And it's, there's always going to be a video that's performing better, or, somebody who has more followers or whatever. And it's like, when you start to look at the bigger picture, I think from the community marketing standpoint, the bigger piece of it is building your own little community, building your own sense of community and speaking to that community.
Yeah.
Not jumping into all the viral trends and everything else, but like saying something powerful that shares your why to give them a reason to choose you over another business. And it builds connection.
For sure. And not only that, thinking about the consistency of the message throughout all the channels that you're using for your community marketing, right? So how you show up, and you got to be careful nowadays, man. People video you, publicly.
It's so true.
And if you're doing something that
you don't want seen, just behave in public, right? Because that will put a taint on your message, on your business, right? So what are you about? What is your message? How can you be consistent? It's different. It's different having your private account and your company account. Even though they're separate accounts, they still have to be consistent with who you are if you want that credibility and reputation to be built, right? What do you think are some of the biggest benefits of partnering with local community publications like ours?
Oh, the best benefits. Oh, there are so many. We could go on for hours here, but to partner with us, first, we've created an ecosystem that was built to create the trust and familiarity and safety for the brands that we represent. And our digital, because this is a community marketing perspective, our digital really is somewhat of a referral, right? We do mini mics, we do behind the scenes, we do before and afters. We help our partners tell their why and convey their message. And with that, it ties into the print, to the story we've been telling about them in the print. Then we have our podcast, right? Even I just want to make a parenthesis here. If you guys are more interested in deepening your digital social knowledge, we did interview Rochelle Rice. She was responsible for the Super Bowl social media here when we had our Super Bowl in Vegas. So, go back a little, a few months ago, I think a couple of months ago, you can see her episode. She has great insights. So aside from the podcast where our business partners, our marketing partners can tell their story and people like you can, learn about their personalities and stuff, we also have the events. So we have all these mediums tied in to be consistent, tell the right story in front of the right audiences, and help the business create that reputation, credibility, trust, familiarity, and safety. I feel like I'm a broken record.
No, I love it. I mean, it's all really good points. And if somebody were to say to you, like, well, I can't track it,
Right.
what would you say?
Well, how can you track a billboard?
It's 100% true.
How can you track a radio campaign?
Yeah.
How can you even track Instagram? Really? Like clicks? What are they going to guarantee?
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, when this comes up, which of course it comes up, people want to know, are they going to get a return on their investment? You know?
Yeah.
So it's a very, you know, it's a question that makes total sense. I think, you know, it's hard to track even from a digital standpoint too.
Yeah.
Like, are the clicks there? Yes. But does that actually translate to transactions? We don't know.
No.
And I think that a lot of times people will see something, whether it be a print ad or a TV commercial or a billboard or whatever, and they might not even remember. Like, you can ask all the time. You can say, where'd you hear about us, or where'd you see us, or whatever. They might just say the last thing that they touched. Like, they might have read an article in our magazine that made them think of this business or industry, and then gotten in their car and seen a billboard, and then heard something on the radio, and then be sitting at their desk and say, oh, you know, my computer. And it's like, that will be the last thing. So it's always really hard to check. But, you know, for people that are really interested in tracking, you know, I always ask and suggest, you know, that they do a deep dive on what their baseline is currently. And of course we can use QR codes and we can do vanity phone numbers and all those things. But like, the reality is, like, you know, if you're putting the right message in front of the right audience and you have a message that's relevant, it's going to make an impact.
And not only that, Crissie, I think that, you know, it's also about timing.
Yes.
Right? People might see your message. They might read your story. They might see your post, whatever. But it's not the time that they are looking for to get that service or buy that product. And marketing, therefore, is a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Not a sprint.
It's so true.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's a big point that you brought up, because a lot of times people are like, all right, I'm open. I'm going to wait for the people to burn the doors down, you know, and buy all my products and services. But you have to be out there, number one, in some capacity.
Yeah.
And especially now, because there are so many choices to choose from, you know, you really have to have an understanding of who your core audience is now. And if you're a brand new business, who do you want it to be? And then find the avenues that are going to speak to those people. And there's a jack for every Jill.
Yeah. And when I hear, oh, it's not working. Oh, really? Okay. Do you have new clients? Yes. Is your business growing? Yes. I just opened a second location. Okay. What part of the marketing is not working? Oh, but nobody tells me that they came from the magazine. Okay, that's fine. Marketing is subliminal.
It is subliminal.
Right? It's like over and over, you're working the consumer's subconscious mind with the messages and the ads and the stories and everything. Right? When the timing comes, don't worry. It's going to click in their brain. They're not going to know where they saw you, except they're going to Google whatever they need, and your name is going to pop up, your company is going to pop up, and all of a sudden it's going to click. And guess what? Google is going to get the praise for, you know, where they got the referral from, when in fact it was everything that you're doing. Everything.
I mean, this is such a personal example, but it's also so relevant to the story you just shared, because I've always driven one type of a brand of vehicle, and that's what I drove for a very long time. That's what I loved, etc. Well, now all of a sudden, as I'm starting to look for like what I might want next, I'm thinking of a totally different brand of vehicle that I am really interested in all of a sudden, and I'm gravitating towards those. And I'm like, when did this shift take place? To your point of the subliminal messaging, the other brand has been in front of my face every single month for a long time now. And I just happen to be like, well, let me just take a peek and see what the inside looks like. Oh, this is really nice, you know? But I've been taking in this message on a repeated basis, even myself, you know, like we share this with our partners, but it's also true for ourselves. Like, and so it's clearly had an impact on me. And when you think about it and you look at your own patterns and your own history, you'll see those messages. Like, there's a reason why, you know, we can all recite the big name, like some of the phone numbers for some of the large attorneys here in town and those things, because Not because, I wanted to memorize this phone number specifically,
Yeah.
but because it has been branded
it's in
into
your
my
face
brain.
Over and over and
it's
over
been
again.
burned
Yeah.
into my brain as like a piece of information that I never even intended to memorize over my course of time here.
And going back to our theme, which is community over clicks, you know, the internet is really oversaturated.
It is very oversaturated
With a lot of the same, right? And people's attention span, they're not going to remember, what med spa did I see that did that? Oh, what was the roofer? Oh, you know, you don't remember anything. First, it's a 15-second commercial or message that you're conveying. Second, if that's all it is, you're not building community. You're not really branding your business. You're not telling your story properly. You need other mediums. Clicks do not guarantee
clients.
No, they don't.
I agree. And that's her mic drop moment, folks.
Woo!
Is there any final parting thoughts today before we close it out?
No, girl. I think that we've covered it all.
I do too. Well, thank you all for listening today or watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel and share. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and follow along with us. We'll see you next time.
But I do want to remind our viewers, followers, that if they have any suggestions on themes on marketing that they'd like to hear, or people that they'd like to see here on our podcast,
send them our way.
Slide us a DM, like Chad likes to say.
Yeah.
And we will analyze, review, and who knows, you're going to see your favorite person, favorite leader, favorite nonprofit here in our studio. Thanks for watching.